All right, we're back in the last 10 minutes of snaps. We've started all right with learning how to do a line, shift right click from the endpoint, the midpoint, the intersection, where you realize it will extend these things out to where they intersect. The apparent intersection is for 3D. The extension of this, it would appear. Let's try to get the extension to that. And then you can kind of key in an extension. All right. It's actually grabbing something on an edge, but if you try this again, if you try to line from the shift right click of the extension of that, and you can give it a distance here. I want to go 12 that, and I've gone 12 off that extension. I'm going to also call that sweet. I'm sure that's a really old phrase, but it's new to me. Try that again. I've got a circle. Now I'll put an arc in. You can type in arc, or you can, more likely, you're going to go to here, center point of arc, second point of arc. Go with an arc here, and I'm going to go ahead with line from shift right click the extension of, and you see it's going to extend it out. Now the length of the arc I presume is 25, and it found a 20-foot extension on that arc. That is pretty sweet. So lots of, like you see here, there are a lot of extra things you can do. Very often you might want to start by doing this visually and actually doing the drafting, and then go ahead and cutting it up, going back to where you were. So in fact, in this case, you could have extended that arc to a 25 and then drawn the line and then cut it back, but that's not necessarily that efficient when you get into other things. So let me keep going here. I'm going to click these, all these that I'm drawing, click them and stick them on that hidden layer. Left click, left click, left click, right click, properties, and soon when we bring up that layer, you see that all these things are different, but there's some things I can change altogether. Change them to the hidden line, hidden layer, hit it across here, and I'm going to hit a regen, and those are on the hidden layer. And if you see, it looked a little kind of put together, but in fact they are hidden lines. So I'm going to go and keep going on the line, shift right click. Quadrant is really a big one. Quadrant, only circles have quadrants. It's the 4 points in your current coordinate system. See, this does not have quadrants. Circles and arcs have quadrants at the 0, 90, 180, and 270 points on the circle, or 0, pi over 2, pi, 3/2 pi on the circle. So that is the quadrant. Go from the quadrant of that to the quadrant of that. The next one here, I'm going to draw 2 new circles. Okay, circle C for circle. You don't always have to use those pull downs. C for circle. Circles and arcs have tangents. Actually, parabolas have tangents, but AutoCAD does not have a, or any kind of polynomial shape will have a tangent. The tangent is actually defined as the line perpendicular to the path at the point of contact. So that works for circle, that works for a lot of other things. It's a little bit higher order than just the perpendicular to the radius, but that's actually the definition of the tangent. But we'll just use the kind of perpendicular to the radius and realize, even though we know we can draft it by drafting the radius and then doing a 90-degree rotate, we can use the snaps much more often. So I'm going to hit here, line, shift, right click from the tangent. And if you notice here, it kind of is one of these deferred snaps. So it's not one point. It's a pretty complex bit of math that it's doing. It's kind of saying, okay, I'm going to go tangent to that. And maybe in this case, I'll go to the endpoint or the midpoint of this curve. So I've drafted tangent to the midpoint. Well, like you've seen before, one of the more important things you're going to know how to go do is do something from tangent from one arc to tangent to another. So I'll try that here. Line, shift, right click, tangent of that, right, to the tangent of that. notice that it does it. I'll be quite curious what it does here if I say line, shift right click the tangent of this one to tangent of that one. And you notice how it did it here. Realize there'd be another tangent as well. There'd be a tangent that went from here to here. You have to give this actually a hand doing some of the tangents. And of course, something you've probably already seen that you can do, and that is a line from a tangent of one circle, shift right click, tangent of the other circle. Notice again, I'm doing all these by the shift right click. If I've got a lot of tangents, that'd be one time that you could actually go shift right click, change your object snap settings, go and click tangent on, right, hit OK here. And now if you had a bunch of circles, so I'll just take this, left click on it, space bar, move, I'm going to move that to here, left click, space bar, C for copy, sorry, move that to here, here, and here. And then just think about this wild pulley system, line. You see that even with that snap on, if I turn on the osnaps now, tangent to that, line, 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 tangent to that. Okay, I've now found it. The one time, well, there'll be other times that you actually go ahead and just change your object snaps. There you noticed I didn't have to do shift right click. And in effect, in much software right now, you could turn this on, sat one of these things rotate, and you'd see your belt going around. Once again, assuming infinite tension, you have tangent lines anytime a belt is on a cylinder. So that's for some of the IMT people there. Some cool stuff. And for the rest of us too, as we think about Rube Goldberg machines and things like Sketchy Physics or Funland or anything like that. An inventor in AutoCAD. Alright, so we see the tangent there, and we actually saw then shift right click. You can keep some of these on every now and then. Let's do the last couple. Probably some of the most important ones are these kind of in the script one. One is perpendicular. I go perpendicular to myself, line, shift right click, perpendicular to. I want to go perpendicular to that, or perpendicular to that, or perpendicular to that, or perpendicular to a line. Notice how the perpendicular line does not have to be on the line. It's perpendicular to the path of that line, or the line from which the line segment originates. That's perpendicular. Generally draw perpendicular to, line, shift right click. Don't use parallel much, but we'll try it. Line parallel to that. Right? Up. I don't really like that, so I'm not going to even teach that here. Never mind parallel. We'll play around with that, but I don't use parallel much. I use offset, correct? So, escape. Line. Shift right click. Node. There are no nodes on this drawing because there are no quote-unquote points. Notice that it's finding no nodes as I run across here. However, if I say point, stick a point right here, you can't even see that point. But if you said line from shift right click, node, you would find it. A really important snap, but because it only goes to one thing. Line, shift right click. Now, insert, when you have a block will have insert and text will have insert. Nearest is a really key one because it's kind of indescript. In other words, you get close to where you want to go and you go nearest. That is most often used if I would want to find the distance between two things. Let's say nearest, I want to go from that point there, shift right click, perpendicular to something else. That's pretty common, right? And I've got a distance from that kind of right there to that line. All right, that's all the snaps. Start using them, and every now and then turn your snaps on. There, I said it.